Exciting winger nears first-team return. Liverpool are set for a shake-up in their forward line next summer. As well as the uncertain contract situation around Mohamed Salah, there are also question marks over Diogo Jota, Federico Chiesa, Darwin Núñez, and Luis Diaz Arne Slot could be working with a radically reshaped strike line next season. And if Salah departs, he is going to need a new right winger. Although there have been several contenders linked through various transfer windows, Liverpool might well have an in-house solution waiting. Ben Doak, 19, has been on loan at Middlesbrough this season. The six-cap Scotland international has impressed with 3 goals and 7 assists in 24 championship appearances. His form has been so good that it's been mooted that he could have a part to play at Anfield next season. Doak, wanted by Premier League duo Doak, was also subject to transfer rumours over the January window, with Crystal Palace and Ipswich both linked with his signature. With Liverpool happy with his progression under Michael Carrick at Borough, he stayed put. But the winger suffered injury heartache just after the window closed, with Carrick confirming a thigh injury in training at the start of February. Borough have struggled in his absence. They lost 5 second-tier matches in a row, with Doak sidelined for the latter 4 of those. They snapped their streak on Tuesday, beating Stoke 3-1 away from home, and before the game, Carrick hinted that Doak would be soon eligible for a first-team return. Although this weekend's championship game against Derby will come too soon for the former Celtic ace, he could come back into contention next week as Borough try to realign their playoff push. Ben will be in and around it at some point, maybe next week, without putting too much of a deadline on it, Carrick said, according to the BBC. Everyone's waiting to see when he's fit. I get that, but he's not too far away. Liverpool have already signed Harvey Elliott replacements. Liverpool's under-21s are back in action on Sunday against Middlesbrough in Premier League 2, having beaten Stoke last Friday. With plenty of time in between fixtures, there was a chance for several prospects to join Arne Slot's first team for training ahead of the Newcastle game in the Premier League. While Rio Ngumoha, James McConnell, and Trey Nyoni have trained plenty with the first team this season, there were also call-ups for 2 more promising attackers. Spotted among Slot's 28-man panel were wingers Kieran Yusuf-Morrison and Trent Cone-Doherty. Morrison, 18, has scored 3 goals and added 4 assists in Premier League 2 this season. The Manchester-born forward has also netted 3 goals in 6 UEFA Youth League games. A left-footed winger or attacking midfielder, Morrison named Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott as his first-team rivals while playing for the Northern Ireland under-19 side. Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott and other top players, he told the Belfast Telegraph when asked who he was up against in the Liverpool ranks. "I'm trying to be better than them and go past them as quickly as I can. I'll work hard to be a success." Morrison and Cone-Doherty gunning for first team. Morrison joined Liverpool having played for Manchester United up to U14 level. He signed his first professional contract in February 2024. This has been a breakthrough campaign for the forward, who sat on the bench for the first team during a recent Champions League match against PSV. Also present for that fixture was Trent Cone-Doherty. The Irishman is right-footed and enjoys playing on the opposite side of the attack. The 18-year-old is adept at using his pace to cut inside and strike at goal. His progress has been rapid, having joined from hometown club Derry City back in 2022. Cone-Doherty has scored twice in 12 Premier League 2 matches this season and was in sensational form in the UEFA Youth League. He scored 3 goals and added another assist. His performances at youth and underage level have been sufficient to alert Slot to his talents, and the winger has already taken his first-team bow. He was part of the unsuccessful lineup for the FA Cup 4th round game against Plymouth and featured On the bench for the PSV Champions League game, Trent has always been seen as a prodigious talent, sitting on the bench for the Derry first team in the League of Ireland aged 15 and signed pro terms with the Reds in October 2023. Trent has that X factor. He's got something special, said Gerald Boyle to the Derry Journal, Cone Doherty's former Derry U17 manager. His one-on-one ability is excellent. He has got serious pace. But the biggest thing about him is that he has a brilliant attitude. Their presence at the session should serve a timely reminder to current first-team fringe players that nothing is guaranteed. The likes of Federico Chiesa, and particularly Elliott, should be looking over their shoulders at the talent coming up behind them. As stated above, Morrison already has Elliott in his sights. And for sporting director Richard Hughes, he will be well aware that should the likes of Chiesa and Elliott be sacrificed to generate funds in the transfer market, these two electrifying youngsters have already gained the trust of Slot. I interviewed Mohamed Salah before Newcastle win. My hunch changed on his Liverpool future. Mohamed Salah is yet to be contacted by Liverpool over a new contract, with Steve McManaman admitting his hunch over the Egyptian's future has changed Liverpool legend. Steve McManaman has expressed his concerns over Mohamed Salah's future at Anfield. The ex-Reds and Real Madrid star finds it ominous that the club hasn't reached out to the Egyptian ace yet. Despite the uncertainty, the 32-year-old forward continues to shine on the pitch, helping Liverpool extend its lead over Arsenal in the Premier League by 13 points. Salah assisted Alexis Mac Allister in doubling the lead against Newcastle United on Wednesday. The Egyptian is on the brink of a record-breaking season, but his situation remains unclear with his contract up in the summer, alongside Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. McManaman attempted to get an update on Salah's contract situation during a pre-match chat, but the Egyptian star remained tight-lipped about any potential extension. We had this situation a few seasons ago when Mo, Sadio Mane, and Firmino's contracts were all coming to an end at the same time. That all got sorted out, and they all played very well, McManaman noted. They were very consistent, that's what you would say. Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, their form has been brilliant. Their dedication to the sport has been brilliant, and their football has not suffered one iota. Liverpool fans want them all to sign, and things will play out. We'll find out the true story of what really went on, how many years people wanted, etc., etc. But nothing can derail how they're playing on the football pitch at this moment. That is paramount. It is a wonderful thing to see. I have got the inside information. Of course I have. I asked them all off camera, and they told me. Belly. Laugh. Weirdly enough, my hunch changed. I hope he does, because if he does, and continues to be successful and has individual success, he's in the right place. He wants to break records, and this is the place to break records continually. If he has to catch Harry Kane and Wayne Rooney, this is the place to catch them. I think Alan Shearer is out of contention because Big Al's too far away. But if he wants to catch the others, this is the place to be. Virgil van Dijk sends bare minimum message after Darwin Núñez Liverpool criticism. He knows it. Virgil van Dijk has responded to the criticism leveled at Darwin Núñez by Liverpool head coach Arne Slot and offered his assessment of the Premier League title race. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk says Darwin Núñez can still have a big role to play this season for the Reds after Arne Slot criticized the striker earlier in the week. But he remains steadfast in his belief that there is more work to be done in the Premier League title race. Slot spoke ahead of the Newcastle game about Núñez's poor showings against Wolves and Aston Villa, where he criticized the Uruguayan for not producing the required level of impact. After missing a big chance at Villa Park, Núñez appeared to be distracted. That is the bare minimum that has been asked of the whole squad from day one. But that is the bare minimum anyway for playing for Liverpool, Van Dijk told reporters at Anfield. It was more down to him, and it is still down to him. But I think he showed a great reaction today in his work rate and coming on. That should be the minimum, and he knows it. Everyone has a big role to play. I mentioned it last week after Aston Villa. We are all in this together, and we need everyone. He is a big part of the team as well, and when he comes on, he has to make a positive impact. We have to keep that going. Now, 13 points clear in the Premier League, Van Dijk is still refusing to get carried away. The Reds now have a break from the league aside from one match against Southampton. That is their only domestic fixture, apart from the Carabao Cup final in the next month or so. There is no almost there, Van Dijk insisted. There is 10 more games to go for us, and nothing is decided. Until anything is decided, we don't get carried away whatsoever. I'm a bit of a boring guy because I always keep saying, on to the next, and keep calm. You have to enjoy winning games, but not for too long because we play almost every 3 days. That is the only thing we have to do. Prepare for the next. It was an intense 15 days with lots of intense games, and we came out of it pretty well. We put ourselves in a very good position, but it doesn't mean anything is done yet. There is no space for complacency. We had to show what we are all about. But we showed a good reaction and a great game offensively, defensively, clean sheet again. We have the most clean sheets so far this season. That is all down to hard work, and we have to keep that going and see what it brings. The fans can sing whatever they want, and we have to deal with that. It was a good atmosphere, and like always, like I said before the game, definitely the rest of the games here will be an amazing atmosphere, and we have to keep going. At the time, I didn't even know the singing early in the second half was about the Arsenal result. Listen, we just focus on our game, like I said so many times. It doesn't really matter what Arsenal in this case does. But, obviously, I totally understand that the fans will react to it. We definitely enjoy the atmosphere. What I enjoyed the most, and what I like to see, is the last 20 minutes, and how we controlled the game in possession and let them run. We did that well, so we can keep doing that. It is the most difficult thing to keep running after the ball, but if you have the ball, you can create open space and even more chances. After facing PSG twice in the Champions League and hosting Southampton, Liverpool will take on Newcastle again at Wembley. But Van Dijk says the Reds' win here will have no bearing on what happens in that showpiece game. A final is always different, but we are wary of the threat they possess, he added. Isak is maybe the most informed striker in the world. When he is back, that will give them a boost. But a final is a final. Everyone wants to play their best game. When the time is there, we will prepare in the best way possible. But we know it will be difficult.